Good morning, everyone. We are continuing Merging with Śiva, Chapter 9, which is entitled Lotus of the Heart, drawn from the 1972 Master Course, and we're up to Lesson 61, the Cycles of Experience. There are many things in life which endeavor to keep us away from our true being. These are the cycles of life. We must watch and be careful of these recurring cycles in our life. These joyous and sorrowful occurrences that awareness experiences, sometimes each day, sometimes each week, sometimes each month, are totally dependent upon the positive control that we have of awareness. But then there are greater experiences that have even longer cycles, perhaps a 3-year cycle, a 5-year cycle, a 10-year cycle, or a 15-year cycle. The subconscious area of the mind is something like the sacred cow of India. It relives what it takes in. The cow will take in grass and chew it, and then she will chew her fruit all over again at a later time. The subconscious area of the mind does the same thing. You will find yourself aware of reliving your life or getting back into the same cycle of the same pattern of life that you experienced many years ago. This you want to avoid naturally. It is easy. Ponder over what you are now doing, how you are living, and then go back and find out within yourself how that compares to a previous time in your life when you were living more or less in the same way. In this way, you will come to know what area of the mind you will become aware in next. If something good happened to you after a series of events in the past, you can expect something good to happen to you again. If something happened that was not as good or joyous as you would like it to have been, then you can know that you will become aware in this area of the mind in the future. This you can avoid. You have the power to control your cause and effect. So I'm keeping the talk a bit short since we have so many other activities this morning. We have some commentary in the Shum language, a series of 3 words. Yuta, a hoop or circle made of anything. Rahyuta, karma, a cycle of experience repeating. Kamrahyuta, preparing for a new karmic cycle, as outlined in Jyotisha. As one enters an area of the mind, he travels through it either quickly or slowly, as a traveler passes through a city. Having had the experience, a new cycle begins. Plans for a new cycle, for entrance into a new area of the mind, can be made while still within a persisting experience. So that's an interesting series of thoughts there. The next one is a talk I gave in 2008, which relates to cycles. It's entitled Planning and Vedic Astrology Cycles. When it comes to planning in the future, one of the interesting aspects of it to ponder is the viewpoint of Vedic astrology in which events repeat themselves in the timing of planetary orbits. Jupiter has a cycle of about 12 years, Rahu 18 years, and Saturn 30 years. Vedic astrology is based on a cycle of 60 years, each of which has a name. 60 years is 2 cycles of Saturn and 5 of Jupiter. Two 60-year cycles, or 120 years, is considered the natural life of man. The Chinese calendar, by the way, is based on a cycle of 12 years, or Jupiter. I spent a few minutes looking for events repeating themselves in 60 or 120-year cycles, and found that the first prototypes for gasoline engine automobiles happened in 1886. And 120 years later, in 2006, a prototype electric car was released, the Tesla electric roadster. So 120 years later, from the first gas power to the first electric. By the way, I gave this talk in 2008, if I didn't mention that. So I'm giving a few updates since 2008. Ford Motor Company started large-scale production line assembly of the Model A gasoline engine car in 1903. Perhaps in 2023, electric cars will do the same. So that's what I said in 2008, and then you get my update. Ford began production of electric vehicles at the historic Rouge complex with the opening of the Rouge Electric Vehicle Center. This facility started producing the F-150 Lightning electric truck on April 26, 2022, marking the continuation of manufacturing at the same site where Ford had previously produced components for the Model T. So not only did they do it 120 years later, they did it in the same place, in the same factory. Amazing. In our own activities, we have noticed events of a religious nature repeating in cycles of 36 years, which is 3 cycles of Jupiter and 2 of Rahu. FYI, the precise cycle is 35 years and 7 months, so it's actually 5 months less than 36 years. Take our Inner Search travel study programs as an example. We had 2 major programs to India in 1969 and 1972. We had no large programs to India until recent to 2008. In 2004 and 2008, approximately 36 years later. Amazing. We had Inner Search programs that included Sri Lanka in 1981 and 1983. Approximately 36 years later, we had programs in 2018 and 2019. In the interim, there were no Inner Search programs to Sri Lanka. So we had 2 programs. 36 years later, we came back and had 2 programs. Amazing. Another example from that time period is that work on the Kailasa Parampara Guru's book was started in 1972 and picked up in late 2007 for finishing. Sat around for 36 years waiting for the cycle to come back. Applying the 36-year cycle to our future, this is the future from 2008. Kadavul Temple started in 1973, so it is natural for something special to happen next year in 2009. Gurudeva's vision of Lord Shiva on Sun Marga occurred in 1975. So in 2011, it is natural for something significant to happen on Sun Marga. Also, the Iravan Spadika Lingam arrived in August 1987. So in 2023, it is natural for some change to take place for it. So, of course, we all know that's when we had our installation, right? And it was exactly 35 years and 7 months, meaning 3 cycles of Jupiter that it took place. So who would have thought when the crystal arrived it wouldn't move for 36 years? But it waited till the same astrology came around. On a personal level, this ties into what Gurudeva was saying. The idea is that it is easier to accomplish major tasks when they tie into doing the same activity in a cycle of multiples of 12 or 30 years before. Or said another way, if we want to predict our future, look and see what major activities we were doing in cycles of 12 and 30 years before. Isn't that interesting how The events just happen in their timing. So next is our flag raising. Looks like the weather's going to be good, so have a wonderful day.